thank you to Griff Reads for inspiring this video, because I saw her make a comparison on her channel that I thought was wonderful, and I decided to make a if you like this, you'll like this YA versus adult fantasy edition. Hello lovely book dragons, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Joana and I love to talk about books on this channel, specifically fantasy books. And today I actually have a recommendation video of sorts, and that is a if you like this YA fantasy, you will like this adult fantasy, most likely. And of course the flip side is also accurate. If you like this adult, you may like this young adult book. This is a video if you are trying to transition into adult fantasy and you like these books that are YA. But this also works if you have someone around you who has liked some of these YA books and they are looking to transition into adult fantasy but they don't know where to start. So this is some like recommendations that could work, and these books, some are similar themes, similar vibes, similar ideas behind it, so I decided to showcase some of these books. The first recommendation is if you like Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi, you may like Son of the Storm by Suyi Davis Okunboa. The first thing, as is obvious by the covers of these books, is that they are both African-inspired fantasy novels. This is the YA, this is the adult. In Children of Blood and Bone, we follow a main character who lives in a land that used to be ripe with magic. However, magic has disappeared and she has an opportunity to absolutely bring back the magic. It's not going to be an easy path, it's not going to be an easy thing to do, but she has that opportunity and she wants to seize it. In order to free the magic and to bring it back to the land, she has to go on a quest and she has to encounter people on the way and bond with them and get into relationships and friendships and maybe some weird alliances to achieve her task. In Son of the Storm, we also follow a young man who is a scholar. So here we have a female main character, here we have a male main character, and he is a scholar, and the city that he is in wants nothing more than for everyone in the city to forget about the people outside of the city. But however, our main character decides that I am though interested in what is happening there. He has also had access to some scrolls that maybe indicate that there's more than what they're being told by their political leaders, and therefore he decides that he does want to know what is beyond the walls, and he also will go on a quest and also will have some alliances and some bondings and relationships that he wasn't expecting. And lo and behold, we also have a forbidden magic that is in this book. So both of them deal with main characters having to ally themselves with people that they didn't necessarily expect to. They are both on a quest of sorts, and they both are freeing magic or discovering forbidden magic. These two books also have, of course, very vivid sceneries and beautiful imagery, as they're both set in African-inspired countries. So we have animals that are like leopards and all these vibrant colors and foods that are described in both of these novels. So I do think that if you enjoyed Children of Blood and Bone, or if you didn't enjoy it and were looking for something a little bit different, maybe with more stakes and more adult themes, maybe you will enjoy Son of the Storm by Suyi Davis Okunboa. Even though this one did have some adult themes, I do think that this is a good pairing, and if you like this, or if you were looking for something for this but a little bit different, there's a good chance that you will enjoy this one. My next recommendation is if you liked Empire of Sand by Tasha Suri, you may like City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty. Both of these are Middle Eastern inspired fantasies, and the colors and the covers are also similar, and I do think that if you enjoyed this one, you will enjoy this one. In Empire of Sand, we follow a main character who has a double heritage. So on the one hand, we have her father, who comes from the ruling classes of the empire, and her mother, whose people were outcasts. And she one time performs a ritual and is caught because she's performing a very strong type of magic and that she shouldn't be having, and she catches the eye of the emperor because of this, and because of that she's taken away and brought to this emperor because of what she was doing. Similarly, in this book, Nari is the one with double heritage, and her mother though is the one that has the more, let's say, prestigious heritage, whereas her father doesn't, with the opposite of this being here, it was the father and the mother who didn't. But in this book, Nari also is performing a ritual of magic that she doesn't even believe in, that she doesn't even know exists, and she does catch the eye of a Jinn warrior, which she definitely wasn't expecting, and she is also whisked away from her Cairo, where she has been growing up, where she has been living, to the magical city of Daevabad, where she is also brought to the ruler of that land to perform some tasks and some magic that she was not expecting to have to do. So as you can tell, both of these have very similar characters who start at similar points, and they both perform some rites that they don't expect anything to come from it, and the performing of that rite kind of changes their lives forever, and they're brought to this magical place and to perform more magic and to discover a whole world and political intrigue that they were definitely not expecting, and it is definitely more than they bargained for when they were just performing that ritual. So if you liked Rebel of the Sand and you want more of something like this, you will probably definitely like City of Brass. And similarly to the other two books that I mentioned earlier, these are full of beautiful, vivid imagery of Middle Eastern foods and colors, and just the sceneries is just so beautiful. These books also definitely make you travel, so if you like this one, give this one a chance. I am pretty sure you won't be disappointed. The next recommendation isn't as obvious as the previous two, and that recommendation is, if you like Fallen Kingdoms by Morgan Rhodes, I think you may like The Long Price Quartet by Daniel Abraham. Hear me out. In Fallen Kingdoms, we follow multiple characters, and we have a kind of a Game of Thrones situation where this book is actually often compared to Game of Thrones, but very YA. And we have different houses. We have a land that is divided in three, and there's different classes, and the top two kingdoms are the very rich ones and kind of oppressing the ones in the middle, but also fighting amongst each other. So we have a lot of political intrigue. We have royalties and kingdoms and all of that kind of stuff happening. But we also have magical beings that are trapped and kind of not in full control of themselves, which is absolutely why I thought that if you like this, and this is definitely very, very, very YA. I mean, I read these years and years ago, but they were very founding to my liking fantasy. In Long Price Quartet, the first book being A Shadow in Summer, we also follow a few main characters, mainly 4 characters who are in this land also with politics and with poets, and it is a bit weird to describe, but basically, I'll read you the synopsis. In a world of ancient empires and immortal magics, one man stands at the crossroads of history. With cinematic intensity and storytelling, Daniel Abraham weaves unique magic, high-stakes betrayal, and political intrigue in the Long Price Quartet combined for the first time in paperback. Okay, the combined for the first time in paperback doesn't matter, but I do think that here you have, like it says, you have magic, you have high-stakes betrayal, and political intrigue, which you have in this one as well, but on a YA level. Of course, these books are very YA, very, very YA, very fast-paced, which these are not. These are rather slow. I've only read the first 2 books as of filming this video, but this is very slow, this is very fast-paced. But other than that, I do think that you would enjoy these because of those things. Both of these are heavy with political intrigue and political machinations. Both of these have let's say beings of higher power that are not fully in control of themselves, that are being controlled by others. And I think that if you read these back in the day and you were looking for an adult version of these, you have it here. These books are incredible. I am currently making my way through the Long Price Quartet and definitely enjoying it. And I do think that if you like politics and if you like betrayal and high stakes, look no further. So definitely, if you enjoyed reading these when you were younger, or you have read them with your children or anything like that, these books are definitely worth your time. And I think that if you like these ones, you will like those. That's the point of this video, isn't it? Next up is one that you would have to read a translation for, but if you're up for reading a translation, I think that if you liked Les Fiancés de l'Hiver or A Winter's Promise by Christelle Davos, you may enjoy Send and Ascend by Josiah Bancroft. In A Winter's Promise, we follow our main character, Ophélie, who is a librarian, and she has a special ability, and that is that when she touches an object, she can find out who it belonged to and see into this object's past, and therefore into the people that have touched this object. And one day at the beginning of this novel, she gets told by her family that she is supposed to marry this man who is very powerful but belongs to a different arch. And arches are, as you can tell from the cover, the world has actually been split up into arches that look kind of like these and that are floating around the sky. So she has to go from her arch that she is so used to, where everything is pretty cozy, to this other arch where everything is about illusions and you have no idea what's true. People are constantly lying, people are constantly putting on a show, there is a lot of illusionary magic, there's a lot of whimsical things, there's a lot of weirdness happening, and it is very difficult for our main character Ophélie, who is so used to things being straightforward, to find her way in this other arch and to kind of understand who's being honest with her, who's being real, who's lying to her, who's trying to manipulate her, what is happening, and just to maneuver her way through this new political world that she's in, and through the politics, through the manipulations to the people who don't have her best interests at heart, and she has to figure all that out in these books. In Senlin Ascends, we follow our main character Thomas Senlin, who is a headmaster, and he just got married to his wife Maria, and they both go on a honeymoon to the Tower of Babel. However, within a few hours of being there, they lose each other, and they give each other a rendezvous point at the top of the tower, and so Senlin starts ascending this tower to find his wife Maria. This tower, just like the worlds or the arches in the other books, this tower is a place of whimsy, of everything being weird, of a lot of illusions, of not really knowing what's real, what isn't, what's happening, who has your best interest at heart, who's lying to Thomas, who's manipulating him, and what the heck is going on. So I think that if you like whimsical books, if you like things that are a little bit weird but definitely so beautiful, the writing, I don't know about the translation, but the writing in this is so beautiful, as is Josiah Bancroft's writing. I think that if you like these books, if you've read them, you will definitely like Senlin Ascends. If you have read Senlin and wanted to read these, I think there's a high chance that you may enjoy them. Plus, fun fact, Senlin is ascending the Tower of Babel, and the third book in this series is called La Mémoire de Babel, and it's also the Tower of Babel. So another fun thing linking them. And finally, we have the recommendation that I got from Sam over at Griff Reads, so I will leave once again her channel link down below. Thank you so much for inspiring this video, and that is if you liked Strange the Dreamer.
Ooh, this is shiny.
If you like Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor, there's a good chance that you will like The Ninth Reign by Jen Williams. I removed the cover so that I wasn't constantly blinding you. In Strange the Dreamer, we follow our main character Laszlo Strange, who is a librarian, and he is considered very weird by the people of his city because he is obsessed with this city, this mythical city, shall I say, of Weep. The city wasn't always called Weep, but no one remembers the actual name of the city. No one remembers where it is, what happened to it, what happened to the people that live there. This city has been forgotten, and even its name has been erased from memory. However, Laszlo is completely sure that it was real, that it's still there, but he doesn't know what to do. So he starts to just research it, and he amasses a huge amount of knowledge from it, and he does manage to learn the language from Weep. And he just lives his life with this little obsession about the city, and everyone judges him for it, until one day there is a expedition coming from Weep, asking for people to go back to Weep and to discover things that are happening there and to solve a problem of what's going on there. So Laszlo, of course, takes this opportunity and wants to join them, and he does go, and we discover what happened in Weep, what is going on, and the story goes from there. The Ninth Reign by Jen Williams is a book that follows mainly three main characters, and we are set in a world that is plagued by these reigns that are also kind of like wars and or invasions by people that do not really belong to the planet that our characters know, or at least they don't belong to their world or their continent or something. It is very weird, and no one knows what is actually happening. No one knows what these reigns are. No one knows who this enemy is. No one knows and why, because the only people who did know were the Aborans. And the Aborans were an elven slash vampiric-like type of people who had immortality thanks to a magical tree who gave them sap that if they consumed, they could live very long lives. However, this tree has been dying, and so have the Aborans, because they started to drink human blood to kind of fill up the need for that sap. They drink human blood, but that brought upon the Crimson Flux, which is this disease that is killing the Aborans. And we follow one of our main characters, Tor, or Tormalin, and his sister Hestilian, as they kind of try to navigate what's happening there. Some of the last Aborans alive, and he leaves Abora and goes on a quest with one of our other main characters, Vintage, Lady Vintage, and she is an archaeologist trying to figure out what is happening in this world, and what are these reigns, and what are the carcasses of things that are still laying around, and these relics that are laying around that no one knows about, and trying to make sense of what's happening and when this ninth reign should come. Now, third main character is a witch named Noon, and she can create winnow fire, which she does by using the energy of stuff around her. And these three main characters meet up, and the story kind of goes from there. And it is just a very, very good time. So why do I recommend these two? And this was exactly why I wanted to do this video, because Sam said this in a video. The way that the plot is so mysterious, that the world building is done in both of these books is so similar. We have a city that is completely forgotten. No one has any memory of it. No one even thinks it's real except for Laszlo. And he is trying his danged hardest to figure out what's going on. And we have the same here with the reigns and with the invasions and with the wars. No one remembers, no one knows what's happening, and our main characters are just trying to come together to figure things out. The writing is not similar because this is very beautiful writing from Laini Taylor. And Jen Williams also has very, very nice writing. But the writing style isn't exactly the same. But the feeling you get with both of these books is just so similar. We have the impending doom of what's coming, of a war, an invasion of a city that is, we don't know what's there when we get there, of discovering the magic, discovering the land, discovering everything with the characters, and just the feeling that you get, the mystery around it all is so similar in both of these books. So I definitely think that if you enjoyed Stranger Dreamer, you will definitely like The Ninth Reign. And it is a good thing because a lot of people have read Stranger Dreamer, but not enough people have read The Ninth Reign. So if you enjoyed this, please pick this up because I do think you will enjoy it. So those are my, if you like this YA fantasy, you might enjoy this adult fantasy recommendations. Let me know in the comments down below if you agree with me and or if you have other recommendations for the books that I recommended in this video. If you just want to let me know that you were here, leave a mask emoji in the comments because masks, and there's 2 of them always, so that kind of makes the recommendations. Okay. That was weird, but it's what I came up with. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you're doing well and staying safe. And until next time, happy reading. Bye guys!